Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Langston and this week we get to present our aircraft feasibility study in a PowerPoint. It's the project we've been working on. So here is my project. Okay, so here is the executive summary for my fictitious company, Pickens Mechanical Company. We have a team that travels all over the Southeast, our different branches. We are trying to take care of our employees with their needs, different whether it's health insurance or safety, training, vacation time, hiring in new employees. So we take care of that. And we also have a salesman that travels and meets new customers. It helps to keep current customers happy, meeting their needs. So that's the purpose of the traveling. We have our primary proposal objectives here. So we want to take care of our extended branches, but we also want to take care of our team members and keep them happy and increase productivity for the company. Okay, here's some analysis results for Pickens Mechanical. Without even considering cost at all in this scenario, we're seeing that several hours are used in traveling by airlines, which is cutting down on productivity. So we're wanting to increase productivity for our team members. So we can see from these charts that whether it's a turboprop or a Cessna Citation jet, that travel time would be around 300 to 400 hours per year used. We can see that the company travel miles with one chart, showing how many miles that the team would be using the aircraft, and we can see that on demand versus airline, that using on demand would dramatically cut the amount of hours used in traveling if we had an own personal business aircraft. Okay, so it's considering the four different aircraft, whether it was turboprop or jet, new or used. So we have new Pilatus, which is a PC-12. It's a new aircraft, most expensive, a used 2008 Pilatus, which is one of the cheaper aircraft, and then a Cessna Citation Encore, which is in the middle. So based on these, you can see the cabin volumes are really close to one another. Maximum range is more than adequate to meet the needs of the company. Making it carry the payload that's needed, the 3 passengers on the trips, and most of the trips are around 300 nautical miles, and they're going to take about an hour, give or take a few minutes. So each one of these aircraft would be a feasible option for the company. Okay, so in further analyzing which aircraft to choose, we had a committee to help decide what was most important for the company, with purchase price and range with maximum payload, direct operating cost, and maintenance cost per hour as being the most important, cabin volume and payload with maximum fuel being the second most important. So we can see each of these aircraft would meet the needs. The one big takeaway from this is that even though the Pilatus is the most expensive aircraft initially, purchase price, the direct operating cost and the maintenance cost per hour are the least amount for considering all 4 aircraft. So looking from this chart, the minus the initial cost of purchasing it, the new Pilatus PC-12 would be the best option. Further considering the cost of operating the aircraft, whether between them choosing and buying an aircraft using fractional ownership or a charter service, we can clearly see from this chart that 1/16, which is fractional ownership of a Phenom 300 at 50 hours would cost $421,000 for just 50 hours. A charter service would cost over $1.2 million if we were to utilize it for the amount of time needed for the year. So owning an aircraft would be the better option, because we're flying the aircraft for around 300 to 400 hours. So at 50 hours for the Phenom, for the fractional ownership, that's not a viable option, and the charter services is not a viable option either. So either one of the other 4 aircraft would be the better option. Okay, so now our last section of which aircraft are recommended. So we have the new Pilatus, the used Pilatus, the Cessna Citation, and the 2002 Piaggio. So the pros, we can see the pros for the new Pilatus It's a new aircraft and it has the lowest maintenance cost per hour. Um, you know, the used Pilatus has the lowest direct operating cost. It was given it the longest maximum range. The pros of the jet is the fastest, has the longest range. The Piaggio is the cheapest aircraft overall. Um, After considering all these different aircraft, we could see that a new Pilatus would be the best option for the long haul because the other one's a 2000. The used Pilatus is 2008. It's nearly 20 years old. So a new Pilatus over the life of owning the aircraft, the new Pilatus would be the better option. So then the next steps of after purchasing the aircraft, the next steps would be for a flight department would need to be assembled for this aircraft. A contract, we need to decide whether it's going to be contract or in-house maintenance or a combination of both to take care of the needs of the aircraft. And then a company use policy for who is going to use the aircraft, the scheduling, and so forth, so on and so on. Okay, so here are some foundational steps that would build a strong safety culture in my flight department. You can see from our textbook that John Sheehan has some good recommendations. He says that safety is a mindset that's put in place at the upper levels of business and is disseminated to the lower levels of business. It's not something that's just casually talked about or thought about, but it's implemented and practiced all day, every day. Risk assessment. Risk assessment should be taken at every level and in every situation involving a flight and the flight environment, whether it's flying the aircraft, planning the flight, um, and even in the hangar concerning passenger safety, employee safety. So risk assessment needs to be done and to see the potential hazards and analyze those and reduce them. Safety culture has several components that make it up, from an informed culture, reporting culture, learning culture, flexible culture, and a just culture, which is also built on trust. If you can't trust everyone in the company, then you cannot have a good safety culture. So these different types of culture, we're informing the employees about our safety recommendations, our safety procedures. Should have the liberty and the freedom to report problems with safety. We should be able to learn from our mistakes, and we should also adapt to new ideas in implementing safety in our flight department. And then just culture, we don't want to punish someone for an accident, but if someone does purposely, carelessly, recklessly do something that's dangerous, then yes, there could be some punishment for that. So managing safety, uh, we say that accidents are not just caused by one factor, but a multiple set of factors leading to an accident. So there's like a breakdown process. It's not just if you got a good uh, safety management system in place, then potential problems could be caught before the accident occurs. But if you have multiple levels of a breakdown in the safety management system, then it could lead to an accident occurring. So we need to implement a safety management system in our fictitious company. And then the SMS will help to compel an individual organization to search out hazards and ways to lessen the severity of the risks or the hazards, thereby decreasing the risk of the hazard happening. So these are some foundational steps that I would implement into my flight department. Okay, so biblical integration, Proverbs 10, verse 9 in the King James Bible says, "He that walketh uprightly walketh surely, but he that perverteth his ways shall be known." This is showing us that as we walk and go about our day, if we conduct ourselves properly in every situation, then we can go about our day without fear. However, if we go about our day in a careless, unsafe manner, then it will be obvious for everyone to see that we are operating in an unsafe manner. So this idea of, is carelessness and safety. If we're safe, um, it's going to be known. It's going to be seen that we are safe. But if you're acting carelessly, recklessly, then that's going to also be known as well. So we definitely want to have the idea of safety in aviation. All right, here is a list of the different references that I used in creating my aircraft analysis for this project.